meeting to order. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting? Asha makes a motion, and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I think any remarks I have will be covered in the other stuff here. I think. If not, I'll catch up at the end. My only remark is I had a great week away from here in Montana, catching fish.
I saw your post, Carol posted.
Yeah. Well, actually, I posted
Oh, well.
it's her account, so.
I just.
We were from Montana the week, yeah, before that, yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so let's go to office update.
Yes, we have our property tax bill for the year, and they did increase a little bit. For this house here, in 2020, the taxes were $2,063.32. And this year, they're $2,096.91, so that's an increase of $33.59. The vacant lots in 2020 were $175.16, and they are $189.33 now. That's an increase of $14.17. It's pretty nominal, and that's for 46 vacant lots. I've been working on the audit this past week and a half, scanning and so on, finding documents and scanning them and uploading them to the Smart Vault for Alta, our CPA. I have scanned about 100 documents. Well, not just scanned, but also some that I already have. You know, he needs to confirm that what I say I did, I have documentation for. You know, invoices and all kinds of things, reports on payments and so on. That was time consuming. I gotta tell you, I'm never going away in September again. That was not a smart thing. On a happier note, I recertified for my community management last weekend, 2 weekends ago, I think. I passed my test. I'm good for 2 more years. So, that's it.
Okay, when did you want to do this?
Oh, thanks. The quick claim that I sent to everybody, does anybody have any issue with it? It was sort of a last minute thing, so it didn't get on the agenda.
So I have a question. He wants to put a dock on Lake Charming. So I presume that means he wants to have a boat on Lake Charming. Don't I remember reading somewhere that we're not allowed to have boats on Lake Charming?
No, that's
I don't think so.
only residents are allowed.
Residents are allowed, you can't otherwise.
Okay. All right, okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they have a restriction, you can't have motors or something, but other than electric or,
But
I don't know that for a fact, but that's common with small lakes.
it would be a covenant issue if that's the case.
Yes, it is.
But,
I'm not, just remember something about boats and Lake Charming, you know, it's.
I wouldn't be specific to Lake Charming, I don't think.
Would it be other?
It says, no boats shall be anchored offshore in the canals or lagoons, and when not in use, shall be moored as closely adjacent to the bank as safely possible. I think they're saying that you can't come up and throw the anchor in offshore and, you know, anchor there.
right,
That's what that says.
and it has to be an owner,
Yes.
and
So when you say other, does that mean no renter?
Well, you know, but the other thing is, how can they
Not allowed
have a covenant
specific
that would
houses.
prevent a boat from pulling up on the bay and anchoring?
Tony, these were placed in 1948. I have no answer for
well,
you.
Tony, this is
I don't know.
just talking about canals and lagoons. And I don't know, lagoons, I assume they meant the ponds
Mhm.
or lakes.
I guess, I don't know.
It's not talking about saltwater. And I would say, I would read this, it says shall be used and navigated by no one who is not an owner. Not the owner, it says an owner, which to me would imply that they're a property owner.
Yeah, well,
but it could be other persons that's authorized by Drum Point Corporation.
So they're trying
No, I didn't mean to open a can of worms.
No, it's good, but
I don't think it'd be in the bylaws, because that's more how do we operate as a board and voting and so on.
but I don't see anything specific to Lake Charming.
No. And there are other property owners that have tiers and so on the lakes. It's not been restricted.
Okay, forget it, I'm sorry.
No, it's a good question. I mean, so I suppose we ought to do a quick search and make sure there's nothing in these, like the policy and procedures or anything about the lakes.
I can check.
I don't want to do it real time right now.
I'll check it, but
I don't remember anything.
I don't think there'd be anything in the bylaws at all.
No, I wouldn't
So
think.
where else would you look?
In the policies and procedures.
Oh, the policies and procedures. Okay, I can look there too, yeah. I'll check that. I don't recall anything. We just went over that. I don't
No,
recall anything.
I don't
from
either,
that.
but just
But I'll double check it.
to make sure.
Can I get you to sign this so that if I find that, then
Yeah.
I can send it out to him, because he was quite adamant that he wants to have it ASAP.
Of course. Why not yesterday?
I don't know, because you weren't here.
Okay. We got that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we get to do roads? No.
Okay. All right. The paving is on schedule for mid-September now. I think Great Hills has had a little difficulty getting us onto their list. But Chris Franklin doesn't seem to think that'll be an issue. I was a little concerned about leaves falling and so on. But, and he's going to have, have the signs in the shed that you can write on. They're kind of rough, but they work. And I did go ahead and give him the combination today, so he can, because I'll be gone, he can come get those. Because I did have one phone call after I sent the letter from a woman that lives on Overlook, concerned that she wouldn't know exactly which day it was going to happen. And I recall that in the past, Gary did put those signs out, so Chris said he'd gladly do that. There was a little bit of damage, people reported, 2 people, Jackie reported it to me, and I had an email at Lake Place and Lake Drive. I thought at first that it might be somebody on down Overlook that's having a lot of work done by John J. Calvin Wood. And, but it wasn't him, he checked for me, nope, it was not them. But there's also a driveway that was paved. And what it appeared to be, so I called him, and he's working with the paving contractor, he's gonna take care of it. So, it looked at first like a hole, did it not?
Yeah.
Like damage. And then it looked like somebody had put a quantity of asphalt into it. I don't know if you noticed that. But anyway, he's gonna have it taken care of. The builder of that house down on Bay, near Dave Fost.
Is that the new house?
Yeah, yeah, they had
House
a
on
driveway,
stilts?
yes, they had their driveway paved, and I think that's the truck that must have done it. So, and he's working with them to take care of it. Maggie,
Well-
shaking your head.
Are they not in their purple area?
Well, they are.
Doesn't
but
matter,
they-
it depends on your impervious space.
Oh, as far as having the road,
As far as that,
driveway
like
paved,
an asphalt driveway?
You can do it. It's all a function of impervious space,
the percentage.
the percentage. Your ratio of impervious space either does or doesn't allow you to pave your driveway.
Oh, really?
Because they treat it as part of the impervious part of your lot.
Because, I hear people all the time, they can't do that, it's critical, why they have that, so I
Yeah,
just.
it's all a function of your square footage and everything, but it's also, now in this case it's not, but some exceptions were grandfathered.
Right.
So they were paid before any of these rules and stuff happened, so. But once they are paid, even if they're grandfathered, that becomes impervious. So then if you want to add something to your house, then it's going to count into the impervious ratio.
That makes sense.
we went through that.
Which is why I always send people to the county if they have any questions. I don't care, if you have any questions, you need to check the county.
Okay,
And then the only other thing I have, Joe Bateman, who does our, labor, day labor and so on, he did tell me that the pipe was clogged the other day on the causeway, so I said to go ahead and call Grover's Landscape, and they went ahead and cleared it, and, yesterday morning. And then actually, after the rain, he called me again to say he came back down, because the tide was still pretty high, but it was gurgling on both sides, so he felt pretty good about it. And then after the rain, he checked it again, and it's handy having him live right here in Drum Point.
that's weird, because it was in good shape right up until a week ago or so.
I don't know why it suddenly is causing these problems for us. It hadn't over the years at all. But there
Someone
it is.
report that, or how did we find it?
Joe Bacon, yeah.
Does he periodically check these things?
Yeah, he keeps an eye, and Sal does as well,
Okay.
but Joe got to it. And then I sent around that proposal, Mike, that we received a few weeks ago now, from Carl Owen, the list of things that he wants to have done, or wants to do with regard to clearing trees and trimming trees back and so on. And given the overgrowth, I think we need to have it done. I don't know if it'll take care of all the overgrowth, that is out there that Joe kind of got behind on because of his illness. So,
Some of it could, but remember we talked, did Sal ever go out and?
he did, and he didn't give me a list. I talked with him today. He didn't come up with a list, but he could still. But he did say, as much as he drove around, he does feel as though we need to do something beyond simply trying to get Joe to, be able to clear it.
Right, but
We
these
need
are
the
specific,
areas.
like trees and stuff.
They are.
Did Sal look at all, right, and does he agree with all?
Yes, he agrees with these as well.
Okay.
Yes, he does. He has this list, he agrees with this list. And as far as the other trimming, I'm talking about like,
No, I know,
oh,
right,
more ground level.
right, more
Okay.
just the right of way clearance.
Right.
Normal maintenance.
Yeah, but yes, Sal also looked at this weeks ago, kind of when he first got it,
Okay.
and he definitely agrees. And actually Carl added buckler here, which I hand wrote, but it's part of the price that's on the bottom.
Right.
So I guess we need a motion to approve Carl's proposal, or,
Discussed or question or anything?
I think that's a reasonable price for all those.
Yeah, you could pay that much easy for two big
For the,
trees.
I was about to say, I mean, we've had us for
Yeah.
two trees, but, yeah.
I'll make a motion, we approve this, the amount, and I'll second it.
But this all came up because it wasn't, because it fell behind in scheduling and everything. Do we have insurance that it'll all be done in a very timely fashion?
I'll talk to Carl and see if he can. I mean, this isn't really the 2-year cutback that we had done, well, 3-year
No, I
cutback.
realize that.
It's not that, but that did take a long time.
Yes, but I think that's another reason why this one should be done as quickly as possible, because it's not part of the regular, cutback, and it
Right.
happens and overgrown.
I'll ask him how quickly he can get to it.
Yeah, considering we're taking out an additional expense, and all of that would be nice if we could get it done quickly.
Okay.
Ask him, and then if his answer is stupid, then we'll go back and say, no, you
Okay.
need to do it.
Okay.
Can I ask about one tree? I've just always been curious. It's the tree that's right across from you and Tony in front of in front of Men's House, but on the ranch side, but there's a ranch right there. There's a big pine tree that kind of goes over the street right there at the corner.
Is that on,
It's right across from, Men's house and Bruce's house. Yeah. Bruce and
oh,
Meg.
on the other side?
Yeah,
The rental property.
you're right. There's like a little
The
ranch
property
there.
and the rental.
And there's a tall pine that leans a lot.
Oh.
It's really tall, it leans over the road right there. Has anyone ever checked to see if that's safe?
Well, Carl drove around and this is the list he came up with. I mean, I can mention that tree to him.
Yeah, I mean,
And ask
it's
him
really
if he
tall,
thinks
and
that
pine trees are
Yeah.
heavy.
So that would be across from Bruce and Min's.
So it's on Lake as it begins
On
to
Lake
curve
as it
around.
starts to turn.
Yeah,
Probably the rental property that used to.
yeah, there's like a ranch house right
The
there.
ranch house, right, it's.
But the tree doesn't lean towards the ranch house, it leans over the road.
Oh, but yeah.
Like it
that's-
would fall
yeah.
towards Moon's house.
Is it on, do you think it's on the ranch property or the Ballard property?
I think it might be on DPPOA, I mean, it's
Oh,
kind
well,
of close to the
Oh,
road.
okay, so it might be,
That's the first question
Yeah,
is it on
who's
our
it?
right of way or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it looks like it might be, because it's right up close to the road.
I'll ask Carl about it.
And it leans right, it would take down, it would block the road if it fell, and it would also take some power lines down.
oh, yeah, that would be bad.
And it's
Yeah.
leaning.
Yeah, he might not announce it, because it's.
And, you know, and then also if it's a power line issue or a potential power line issue, we can call SMECO and see if they come and take it.
True.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah, but
is it wrapped up in any?
No, it's
wrapped
not,
up, but
it's
any
not
kind of
perfectly
power?
wrapped up in anything, but it's
Okay.
really tall and it's leaning a lot, and it's leaning over the road.
Okay, well, I can also call SMECO. I probably won't be able to
They
get
probably
that
won't do
resolved
anything
before I
yet because
leave.
it's not, right now, it's not.
Okay, well, I'll look at it tomorrow and maybe take a picture and send it to you so you can see.
Do you know which tree I'm
I'm
talking
not
about?
exactly certain, but I'm sure now that when I look, I will
Mhm.
know. Is it a great big, it's a great big tree?
Yeah, it's a very big tree, it's a big pine, and it's straight, I mean, it's like leaning like this, you have to walk under it,
Yeah.
you know, going
I'm
down.
gonna go tomorrow when
Straight.
I'm like,
Yeah, if you could look at it,
okay,
Get a
and send it.
step off.
Yeah,
maybe step off the distance from the road.
Okay,
so that
yes.
Just to see if we're
okay,
about in ours or about not or whatever.
okay, I'll do that.
So did we approve this, or am I gonna call Carl first?
Let's call,
Okay,
why don't we do that?
okay,
We
so
can-
that'll fit on next
We can
agenda.
give a conditional approval when it comes back.
Sure.
So you wanna find a timeline, but you want,
Yeah.
have a committed timeline.
Okay.
If this other tree is a problem, we can add it, I guess.
So then there's also the well rings, the proposal from Grover's Landscape, and I didn't make a bunch of copies, but it's $6,248. Mike met with Mike Toro from Grover's a few weeks ago, and that was,
Yeah, Sal and I met with him and showed him, at that time, we had about a mid-tide, so he couldn't see everything.
Yeah.
So he was gonna come back and look at it at lower tide, and so he could see the extent of it. And then he provided this, which I thought seemed kind of high, 6248. And so I tried,
It's hard to tell, I mean, how many are you asking for him to change those, replace those?
no, this is
Just
to,
a
this is basically a patch,
patch, okay.
all the holes in there,
Yeah,
and use reinforcing rebar
uh-huh,
in the patch, hold the patch, and do it with marine concrete. And then, put any fill that needs to be, I didn't see where a lot of fill needed to be done, but, and then patch the tops of them
uh-huh,
where they're eroding.
uh-huh.
So that, that was pretty much what it was.
Is there any like other companies that we could get, no, that's it? Good.
We tried, 2 or 3 of the marine contractors, they won't touch it.
Yeah.
I found a concrete company over in St. Mary's, and which sounded like they might be good, but I sent them pictures of it, and they no bid it. They said, no, we're not interested. So, I
That's
don't know.
probably why this company did.
I tried a couple other concrete contractors, who didn't get calls back, so.
Sounds like we don't have any other option.
They don't have
If we wanna do it, there's only one source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can blame it on Bonnie, and, so basically, you wanna look at it?
I think you sent it.
Is the cost of like marine concrete really high right now? I mean, I
Well,
have no idea what concrete is.
I mean, I don't have any idea on
And I
this.
know you want to use a good grade and all that
Yeah.
stuff, so I would not know whether this is a good price or not, so,
Yeah, it's,
yeah.
It just seems like highway robbery, but we
yeah,
don't have much stores.
What does that mean?
I mean, sure, they could go in there and just do a Sac-Creek patch,
Yeah, he said the
which
rebar
would
is
be gone
necessary.
within,
Yeah,
Six
rebar is
months.
necessary to keep it.
so, yeah. yeah,
So
we
that
talked,
may not be that outrageous, even though it's a lot of money.
yeah,
I-
but
I
you
know.
gotta, you gotta go in there and get them seat the rebar and everything, and then patch it and. I didn't like it either, but I don't know what else to do. Because it is, I mean, I think it'd last another 5 years or no, but it's gonna slowly erode.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been eroding pretty quickly.
And if
Yeah,
we have,
this
a-
is-
Since we've lived
we
here.
have, bad storms, erode,
Yeah.
erode pretty quickly, so. So, what
I
is the
guess
board?
the only other thing we could do is decide that it's not gonna be beach access, not an official beach access, but it seems like we ought to do something to ensure safety, because people are gonna use it no matter.
Well, yeah, they are, and it's,
They are.
Yeah,
if we let it erode, then it's gonna erode back into the rest
well,
of
that's
the right
true,
of way.
that's true, yeah, yeah.
And we don't have that many beach access.
No, that's, I
points.
mean, yeah, that's true.
So the next thing is a safety issue, is that?
It's a safety issue.
Then we don't have any choice.
Well, right now, I don't feel like it's a safety issue, but it could become one.
It's a functional
Yes.
issue also, yeah, I mean, if you wanna have that be a viable beach access.
That is the only official beach access to that whole stretch of beach. Because remember, the one at the other end,
Yes,
we had to take the sign down because it wasn't on our property.
Yeah,
that's right.
so,
People climb over that too, so it's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
they do.
yeah.
right,
Not our problem.
But we're not encouraging it.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, so is there a motion to approve it or disapprove it, or let it go? Jack, can we,
Long distance, I'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I don't think we have a choice.
I'll second it,
it.
yeah, in case I, yeah.
okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Jenny, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right,
Um,
anything else on?
Not really, except I guess I'll go ahead and see if Sal can pinpoint what areas are most in need of the major trimming ground level, and see if I can get a price from a couple of different people. Of course, as fall comes, things will begin to die off and it won't be quite as bad.
Yeah,
So, and Joe has been working diligently, his son is helping him, maybe they can get ahead of it. So,
they got the mower fixed and
the
everything?
mower got fixed, wasn't about $175 or so, they came, picked it up, replaced some kind of a switch, brought it back a day or two later.
Okay.
All right, and that's it.
All right, Jack?
Really just had a short while today to look at the budget. Everything looks good, no surprises, they're exactly where we should be at this time of year. One thing is as far as our income, we're way ahead of where we thought we'd be on budget, so we're got a lot of money coming in. I think it's been a few weeks since we talked to you, but you've had some old residents come in and
Okay.
old bills and
Yes,
Okay.
surprisingly, I had a gentleman call the other day, it was a great aunt of his or somebody, she owed nearly $1,000. He said, I didn't know this was that, oh, I'll pay it, and he gave me his credit card number. Like, I had no hope of getting this money. So that was almost $1,000. There's been a couple. I picked up a couple thousand the other day, a woman that owns a house here, and her mother, who has passed away, owns a house in a vacant lot. Both of them were 3 or 4 years back, and she gave me her credit card for that. It's a couple $1,000s. Yeah.
so it's things like that that make our covenant fees a mandatory assessment. On the profit and loss, budget versus actual, the top 2 lines there, you can see they're quite a bit ahead of where we thought we'd be. So the residents are supporting us.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so. I didn't do the percentage for this current year, but, yeah, lately, but I would say we're doing very well
Okay.
compared to years past.
Is did we get everything paid for and everything on the, like everything?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
that came out of last year's budget. There shouldn't be There might be a little that seeped over into this year, but, yeah, 151, that, most of that'll come out of last
Okay.
year. Some of this right here that you're looking at is probably reimbursement to Cindy for welcome bucket supplies and so on.
All right, anything else?
That's it.
Bonnie, do you have anything on environment?
Only the Pragmatis, I'm going to touch base with Mark Smith, and I'm going to take some up-to-date pictures of the properties to send to him, because I did a while back, but things might have grown quite a bit, so that's all I've got, and maybe Jenny has something to say.
Jenny? Anything on?
Yeah, I had to take my phone off mute. Yeah, I was just, oh, sorry. The fall newsletter said that the spraying is gonna be done annually for the foreseeable future, and, I was unaware of that. I thought it was like a 3-year program.
No, actually, he can, if there's not much growth, he might let it go for a year, but, yeah, if you don't do it every couple of years, once you get it under control, you'll get it all back.
So we're gonna be spraying these spots for the foreseeable future?
Well, only if there's growth.
Okay.
So it won't be a wide area, you can just hit the new growth that's come back. And the only place that's probably really, well, there's two spots, the one on Lake Terrace, because I haven't looked at that lately to see what's come back, because it was thoroughly sprayed last year. And there's a line of Phragmites when I was down at the community beach, that's adjacent to the club's property where they have huge growth.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be, you have to keep at it. Because if you, in 10 years, if you don't do anything, it'll be all back.
Okay. I was just thinking that instead of spraying, we might want to consider the solarization method that, Autumn Phillips had mentioned.
Well, that was quite expensive, you know, what the price you gave the club was outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
So,
But then we wouldn't have to spray every year.
no, I don't think you can be sure it's not gonna come back, because stuff can fly in, especially for the beach, stuff flies in from the, you know, the seeds will fly in from the club property.
Okay. I'm having a little trouble hearing you, but.
Oh, well, okay, I'll take my mask off. I'm saying that to say that you're not gonna get any regrowth is not accurate, in my opinion. Especially when the adjacent property, which the club has to the beach, is full of mature and thriving Phragmites.
Mhm.
And-
Okay.
And
Well,
the price that they gave,
it'd be helpful if we had Autumn come and do a presentation to the board, just to let us know about the program, and maybe get an idea of what it would cost us. And then we wouldn't have to spray herbicide on our waterways all the time.
well, this is an approved, you know, we can certainly do that, but, this is probably the last big spray. We had that big spray at the Lake Terrace, which we had to do, that would have been very expensive, based on what she told the Drum Point Club it would cost to do their, I think, one patch of their property. So, certainly we can have her come in and give a presentation if you want, but,
I think it would be good to,
I mean, we certainly can.
yeah.
And didn't she
Would
mention,
it be okay if I give her a call and set something up for the next meeting or so?
Well, I don't want to cancel Mark for this year.
No, I'm not saying cancel it for the year, but.
No, because he's coming to spray in October, which is the time that you have to do
That's,
this.
yeah, we're still gonna do that, but I
So,
think
He
this
just
is,
wants to
this
give
is-
the information.
This is
Right.
fine for information, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so would it be okay with everybody if I put something for coming to a future board meeting?
Sure.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine with
Yeah.
me.
Give a little presentation?
yep,
Jenny, what's her name? What's her name?
Her name is Autumn Phillips. She is the land manager, at American Testament Land Trust.
Oh, okay.
And she has her own little business where she does this solarization, of Phragmites. And, instead of using herbicides, it's, you know, it's, a newer way dealing with Phragmites. And it is more expensive, but, you know, like I said, we're not spraying poisons into the waterway.
Well,
Well,
let's, yeah,
this is an approved chemical, approved by the state of Maryland, so I'd say that it's not as if,
Can I make a suggestion that before we inviting her in is a great idea. Let's pick out a little patch of Phragmites somewhere, maybe on the club property, that people will know the size of the patch and say, okay, how much would it cost to treat that patch? Because otherwise, we're not going to have any idea of how to compare it to anything.
well, I know that they got a price, if you talked to Tim Hansen, I believe, he got Mark Smith gave them a price for the whole property, all the club, for, I think it was $1,200, and her price to do the same thing was orders of magnitude greater. Of course, our stuff is pretty much under control, so that could make a difference too.
Yeah.
Well, there's a big patch in my yard, at the edge of the water, so.
And your property,
In my property,
I think it would be worth checking out. I
Oh,
mean,
sure.
it might be too expensive.
I'm not saying don't check it out, but I don't want to.
No, I don't
This
think,
year, I think we got to,
no, I understand that, but I think it would be, I mean, I think we need to think about what we're doing to the environment
Oh, sure.
and if there's a way we can do it.
But every year, the amount used is much, much smaller each year, because you're really getting rid of it.
Yeah, and I agree with you, we should continue what we're doing for
I
now.
think we're in violent agreement,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let's hear what she has to say and,
Yeah.
all right. Maggie, anything on safety?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have something else to say.
Oh, okay.
On the Ivy League, the little thing that went out in the newsletter, I did get 2 residents, email me, letting me know that they think it's a great idea and that they will be volunteering with me, so I won't be out there by my lonesome.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that, so.
Good.
I might even get my nippers out, I don't know.
We should
All
continue
right,
to put
well,
this
thank
in the
you.
newsletter.
Yeah, I can,
Yeah, yeah.
I can keep putting it in the newsletter. I can put it on the website, but I don't know how many people go in and just sort of roam around on the
And if you
website.
can say like, what,
Do both.
Yeah, yeah.
in terms of like, how often, you know, like, can someone do it and just do it when they can, or do they have to commit to doing
I'm
it
sure they can.
every time? I mean,
I'm sure they can, but
give a
yeah,
little more information about it would be
Yeah.
good, and I think you might get more takers.
yeah.
And if people come out and do it and realize that it's not hateful,
Yeah, and
you know,
they'll come
then
back.
they come back and
Yeah,
Yeah,
tackle a tree, adopt a tree.
yeah.
There you go, yeah.
Adopt a tree, that's a good one.
That's a good one, yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Jenny?
No, that's all, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, safety.
A couple of weeks ago, I talked with, Peter, and he sounded not well at all. And he says that he wasn't doing well, that his chemo was getting the best of him. So we talked briefly, about the committee, about the safety committee, and his suggestion is because of his interaction with FEMA and other agencies, he feels like there's no longer a need for the full-blown safety committee. And his suggestion was to disband the committee, but leave the area here in the office with supplies that could be used if there was an emergency. So that's basically all he really had breath enough to talk about, so, yeah.
Well, still, we would need a point of contact for that operation, should we need to.
I'm sorry, what?
We need somebody who's the person, the point person for that equipment in case we need to use it again. To
Who does
just
that
let it sit
equipment,
there.
who does that equipment belong to? The radios?
Well, since your conversation, Gary's talked to Peter, and Peter has offered to leave the equipment here, donate it to the association.
Who owns it? Does he own it? Who owns it?
Who else?
The radio,
Peter.
Oh,
Peter.
Peter owns it.
It's Peter's,
Oh,
okay.
He
oh,
put a lot of his own money in.
oh, okay.
There was some discussion about removing the antenna out there. Gary and I talked about that, and we don't feel that would be the wise thing to do. Peter was afraid that it could be a lightning magnet, but it's well-grounded, it's in concrete, it's not liable to get blown over. If it gets blown over, the roof is probably gonna be gone before that anyway, so. So we feel like it's better just to leave it there. And there was, I don't know, did you send the rest of that correspondence around about the guy who volunteered to take over the radio stuff?
No, I don't think I did. His name
Well,
is
Hardy, I think, or
something Hardy. Yes, I've met him, I just,
Dave Hardy, or?
Dave Hardy.
Okay,
He lives in CRE.
Okay, so would he be taking over the operation if there was?
It's my understanding, yes, because we're not here, as far as with communication with the county and emergency issues. They sort of viewed us, if I understand Peter correctly, that we're the whole area. We're the only one, actually, in Calvert County that has the access to the county website where you can post, gee, there are trees across Laredo, we need to let people know. All the phone lines are down, we can, if we can get online, post on their website to, let them know we need help down, right, so to speak.
Right.
But it isn't just us. Dave Hardy lives in CRE, and he's part of our radio group because of that. But there's also a man that lives here, Chris Moody,
right.
and he's a radio ham operator as well. And my thought was perhaps if you would get in touch with him, if we want somebody right here in Jerome Point. I think he lives on Elkins, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's over there in that area.
Yeah, to see if he's still interested
Okay.
in pursuing it. I don't know.
He could, I agree, I'm not sure we need a committee, but I think we need a point of contact.
Yeah, otherwise it's gonna be.
Could talk to the county, and if there
Yeah.
is something, because, part of what this was is that we would provide inputs on damage that would go to FEMA and become part of the overall assessment, and it might mean, that helps us stay in the ballgame as far as funds and stuff.
Well, maybe I misunderstood Peter, and before he got sick, when he and I were talking, he kind of relayed that, there were so many FEMA restrictions and so many, regulations at this point that, he felt like it just wasn't doing us any good to have the radios, but maybe I didn't really get into it enough with him to discuss
I
that.
don't know. I kind of thought the whole point of having those radios in the beginning was, again, if trees go down across Rousey Hall Road in any big fashion, we're kind of stranded down
Isolated,
here,
yeah.
we're isolated.
Yeah.
But
And that was the point of having those radios.
that's why we have these things.
Yeah, but sometimes your cell phones go out.
So
like,
I would look,
speak
I
right,
would
your
see
cell
the
phones
radios
go
as
out.
being essentially a backup or a fail-safe,
That's true.
as long as we have somebody like this Hardy.
But he knows
And he
what to
indicated he
do.
was willing to,
According to Gary, having talked with Peter, yes.
right.
Okay, so are these radios, are we licensed to operate these?
Yeah, we have a
radios?
license, a radio license.
And it's current and
Well, that's something,
That I
That's
assume,
why
but
we
I don't
have
know.
some-
well, that's something to ask this
Dave
guy that's
Hardy.
volunteered.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you'll give me the name, of the guy.
I'll
and-
send you the,
Yeah, and I'll get.
I'll
with
send you the
him and-
list and, yeah.
Yeah.
Send her that email, traffic and stuff that,
Got it. Did I not send it to you maybe, or did, I don't know. I'll send it to you.
I'm sorry, I have to take this.
Sure.
A question, doesn't the safety committee also provide some services for us uniquely as a community? Like I'm thinking about those cameras at the community beach, and I don't know if there's anything else. I think Jack was involved in that, but I think he decided he was done climbing ladders too.
I think we're gonna ask Joe a little.
Well, I think young Joe, little Joe, had said that he would do that, but he needs a day to come in here and have instruction
Okay,
on what has to be done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if there are any other little things like that, but the
Okay.
the cameras at the community beach came to mind.
That's all I can think of, Tony, too.
No, I don't know.
Maggie had to dash outside for a call. Public safety, this is on the policies and procedures manual. We have a public safety liaison. Act as consistent point of contact for any and all issues of public safety affecting the community and surrounding routine and emergency basis. Act as an advocate for the Community Emergency Service Center to the board. Assist the board of directors, manager, facilities, etc. Document any expenditures incurred by DPPOA during any time of disaster for possible reimbursement by FEMA. Coordinate and observe all installation and maintenance and testing of the dry hydrant system by fire department. Maintain a journal documenting all pertinent actions. So it does seem like there's some, it's not just totally trivial. I don't know that we need a committee, but we would need a kind of a point of contact or to fill this liaison position.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure a committee is called for, but some point of contact is necessary. I mean,
Well, I think that maybe we'll send this stuff on the radio stuff to Maggie,
Oh, well, yeah, fair.
and she can start that contact, and then we can see if Moody or somebody would be willing to, to essentially act as a liaison. Or look at this, there's this bigger safety committee, right, that Peter had set up with all these people.
Yeah, there's probably 15 people or so on that.
Right.
I think that was done, back in the beginning when we started all this, we had the CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. And that was through the county, and then we found out that if we're part of the county CERT, we, as volunteers on that committee, can be called to the north part of the county to do things, and liability and all that.
Yeah.
So that's when we stopped being part of CERT.
Yeah.
But we kept the committee,
Yeah.
and I think, again, the idea was that, men who can run chainsaws, who've got trees down, and of course, as soon as you're not prepared, that's when things happen,
Right.
So I think we need to keep some fashion, of what we have back here. Maybe not a big full committee, but,
There should be, maybe Moody if he's going to do it, and maybe a backup who would be knowledgeable what he does.
yeah.
So that we,
Well, it's gotta be somebody that's right, that like to do radio checks and so on. It would have to be
Volunteer, yeah.
people who are
Yeah,
licensed. or
License, yeah,
whatever,
well, we probably in the community have people
But,
like that.
yeah, but
Well, Peter has.
To me,
that.
the more important function is liaison function,
Yeah.
which
Right,
to communicate with the county.
well, I think that would be Dave Hardy then, because he already has that.
Well,
knowledge.
right, if he's willing to do that,
Yeah,
but he's not a drum point,
No.
really.
Oh.
So
the guy who's
can
already-
he serve as a,
Well, I don't see why not. He's on the committee. He's on our list of people, and he's
Yeah.
not on the committee, he's on the list of people.
I mean, this doesn't really say, all it says is you could be a member of the board, but it doesn't say it has to be a,
When's the last time you've talked to him about this?
Dave Hardy?
Yeah,
Oh, I haven't talked with him at all. It was Gary and Peter.
I know, but when's the last time he's been aware of that he's on the committee and
He wasn't on the committee, you said.
He's not on our committee, he's
On
on
the list.
Peter's list of people.
yeah,
in
I mean, I
the
guess
area.
my question is, since it's probably been a long time since anything's happened here, people, might think that,
I
it's
think
not.
that,
Well-
didn't Peter say he's spoken with Dave
Yeah,
Hardy?
he's-
Dave
he's
Hardy
cognizant.
Okay,
presented-
that's my question, okay, that's good, that's
he's
good.
cognizant of this.
I just
In
think
fact,
someone needs to talk to him, so
This
that's
email,
good.
this email traffic, maybe you ought to send it out around to everybody,
The whole thread of
if you
it.
didn't, that
Okay,
whole spread, and
that's fine, I was just.
Yeah. If there's no, like having equipment here, if we're not
come in and they do what they call radio checks. I think they can actually do that from their house too.
And if we don't have anybody that's gonna come in and use it
Right.
for us, but
Oh, well, yeah.
I think we need that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good if
And
we,
what
it's
is
good if we
the
have it.
tie-in between our safety committee and reporting to FEMA? Because I think that's another consideration, because, you know, we want FEMA funds if anything happens.
Well, that was listed in this liaison position to assist the board of directors, manager, facilities, et cetera, to document any expenditures incurred by DPPOA during time of disaster
Okay.
for possible reimbursement by FEMA or other appropriate agency.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, I'm going to declare this work in progress until we,
Yeah, okay.
so it should stay on maybe as unfinished business, so we get more facts.
Okay.
And we can also try to lean on Gary, so he's getting off too easy.
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything, but, yeah.
Well, he's involved himself, so.
Okay, Rhea, do you have anything on the welcoming committee?
Just real briefly, Ginny and Jenna,
Yeah, I wasn't there.
both of them, came in and assembled 3 buckets, I guess, last week. That left me 5 on hand. I distributed 3, there are 2 left.
Okay, so you-
Um,
soon you'll need more.
Yes,
Okay.
but we need buckets from ACE, and a letter went to ACE.
It's been a while back.
Where the
From
letter
Cindy.
just went a week ago,
Yeah.
and you signed it mysteriously.
Well,
You being in Montana, I don't know how you did that.
well, there was another one she had crafted for Ace. That
Yes,
was,
those buckets are all mine.
Yeah, I mean, we went through a lot of
That
buckets,
was
because we had
yeah.
a huge shack
so
back
this is
there.
another
This
request.
is another
Yeah.
request, with apology, well,
Well,
not apologies exactly, but an explanation that we've had so many sales.
Yeah, I was
in
about to
Rockport.
say, I mean, I feel like, I mean,
It is
Ace
big.
has been generous, but.
They have, they have. So,
Yeah.
we're waiting for buckets to come in.
Okay.
So, that's where that is.
Right. Okay. Planning committee, beach erosion. We'll talk, well, connected to the SCD, but essentially, and I think I sent it around again, but we received this sort of Plan B from Coastal, whatever they are, Coastal Design. And essentially, it's just the spur at the edge of our property and, what's his face? And,
Managers.
yeah, and it's very similar to one that was done down in Gloucester Point, Virginia. I mean, it's there, it works. You know, you have to put in some initial amount of sand to get it going, put in some plants and everything, and it's all described in that proposal. And then I got an estimate from, what was it? Right around 100,000, and I kicked in another 10%. Well, it's a little more than 100,000, but anyway, we come up to about 120,000, and I gave it to Jack. But I basically put in 10% for contingency or overrun. So they've got everything ready to go. He and I both have been trying to get this bureaucrat up at DNR that's responsible for the loan program. And neither one of them can get him to answer. So I told Scott I'm just about ready to go over his head to the county, or to the DNR. I'll find out who his boss is. But that's where that is. What we're planning on doing, just jumping ahead a little bit, because we're going to talk about the status of the SPD. Jack and Rhea and I are going to meet with the county planner, I guess planners or whatever. It's not Morris.
No, I thought it was, Public Works.
Yeah, I guess it's Public Works. And talk about the range of activities that Jack has put in the STD strawman budget. So it includes our roads, our streetlights, some repair stuff we think is authorized. And we're gonna take a shot at putting in about half of what this beach project would cost. So we figure we've got enough reserves to handle half of it. And put in the other half into STD, which I think, what was it, comes up like $20 a head, Jack?
I'm just looking,
I think I put the full amount in
was this the latest amount that Champion 55?
this. No, let me go grab it, I just need to.
140? Okay.
No, 182, let me check, oh, I've
Yeah,
got it right here.
I thought we dropped it back, so it's gonna come to like 160 something per residence.
I don't recall that. Maybe I've got the wrong version here. I've done this more than once. Let me check and see if I have another version, but I thought that this was the latest. I have copies, Jack, that we should take with us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Didn't know if we had. Okay. Yeah, feature version. See, I put that much in. Let me see if I have a later version.
Yeah, that's, yeah, 'cause this is like 150,000. We are pausing and hunting right now.
Yep. Has anybody been down to the beach to see what it looks like after all this crazy weather?
I
I
haven't.
have not.
No.
But I'll be going down there tomorrow. Take some pictures.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I have one here for 169 each. Threw all those away.
Okay,
Is this?
so we,
Shoot, Rita.
yeah, so I think I was more or less right before, and that was that we.
I'll print this out.
We wagged it in at about 120K, and then, Jack, taking a look on our, reserves, you know, what we need and what we, contingency kind of stuff, and what we have planned and budgeted, and felt like we could afford half of it without doing anything else. So then we thought we'd go ahead and submit the 60K, and see what the county does, and see if they would even entertain having this kind of a project. And the language in the STD stuff does say community amenities. So that's our plan. So we're gonna meet with them tomorrow, and I look at it as kind of a kickoff meeting to see, give them a rough idea of what we're talking about, and see where they are, and then we'll refine the, so we haven't given them the budget yet.
Reasonable. It's reasonable.
Okay.
So,
The question for me is, presenting this to DPPOA is,
Yeah.
budget increase and budget sustainable. I think there is support.
What the county wouldn't need to be voting on, would be, we might want to make sure that the younger population in the community really rarely comes to these meetings, would have a sense of what's going
Well,
on.
my thought right now would be, we meet with the county tomorrow, we get a sense of what's doable
Mhm.
with the county.
Yeah.
Then we, when I say we, I guess, I mean Tony, but at at the meeting, we'll have to get together after this meeting with the county and, you know, kind of strategize where we want to go to the membership. But let's assume the county says, yeah, this falls within the scope, we can put in the STD. Then we would have to present that to the membership in September. And you could ask for a motion. And
I don't think the membership gets to vote on it any STD stuff. They just get advised.
well, okay, I don't know. Because before, when I look back, it looked like there was sort of an endorsement type exercise that we went through with the community. And then, later on, the county will set up a public hearing and they can have their official vote.
Mike, you're right. You have to,
There's sort of a meeting where we still present, you know, with the board's position and why it's going forward, with what's going forward with, and all that stuff, and then, you know, the rule law and roses. But I don't think there's ever any kind of a consensus that from the membership, I mean, there's a comment if they want, but
Yeah.
is there any kind of consensus or voters, you know, thing?
no, but you have to show the commissioners that you have community consensus and approval to some degree. So you can't just go up there and say, this is what we're making and expect
Oh,
community
no,
to.
no, yeah, you gotta present it, well, I mean, you know.
Right.
Right.
But I don't think there's, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Some sort of, we need a, sort of an agreement in principle or something, but it's not really a formal vote or a formal approval by the membership. It's sort of an acceptance and agreement, I guess, I don't know.
Okay.
But if we don't get that, I mean, if we're talking about the membership meeting at the end of the month, I think we need to, if there's gonna be something critical vote, we have to get something sent out to the whole community, because the people that come are just a different demographic from the people that really use it.
I'll tell you, rather than us guess at this, I need to go back and look at the last one and see, because there was a string of, there was at least two, I think there was a membership meeting and then another meeting after that.
Yeah, like a special meeting to,
Yeah,
you
like
know,
a
make a
special meeting.
presentation
And then, following that, you know, once the county then got all of its stuff going, then there was a public hearing. So rather than, let's guess at it, let me look into that, and we'll talk about that process after our meeting with the STD people or the county people, and we'll scope out a plan to present.
Yeah.
And decide whether we need approval or just, I don't know.
I think it's sort of, not a consensus, but not an agreement in principle, but sort of a gentleman's agreement that, yeah, they're not diametrically opposed to what we want to go forward with.
We have to show that we have community support.
Yeah, that's it, yeah, it's not,
To investigate it further, so that.
yeah, it's not a formal vote or anything, it's just community support.
Okay. Okay, I will. We'll get back together on this after this meeting tomorrow and see where we're at with the county and then scope out our plan. That sound okay?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay.
Can I have the copies that I kind of, because I want to take, Jack thought we should take these with us tomorrow. And so I want to. I just do that in my
Monies, for just the partial funding from our reserve, partial funding from the SUV, we can get into this week.
Oh, okay.
So that's, we're meeting with them tomorrow.
I get easily overwhelmed, and I'm not sure I could explain this. Say we sit down with them tomorrow.
No,
and
this is,
This will yield $250,000 more.
it'll yield 210,000.
with 1466, oh, I see, with the,
Because it's a percentage, 85% of
Right.
1466 billable lots. That's the money we need. These are the three different, and I don't have the other one printed, but there are three different budgets.
over 5 years, it'd be 60 grand.
60, oh, you mean for the
Oh,
beach?
12,000 a year.
Yes, for the beach, yes,
So that's the plan.
correct, yeah.
And where's, I thought you had, you got road paving, you got stormwater management, you got the beach erosion.
Those are, that's the capital budget. This is
Oh,
the
okay.
operations and
Okay,
maintenance.
so there's the
There's-
O&M.
Plus, there's
part of
another
that.
page that's just admin, and all that is
Okay.
the audit.
Okay.
And this I just put out here trying to bring the two together, so where am
Well, we should be able to walk through this.
I? Oh, here, it's right here, so
and see.
12,000 on our part as well. I thought we should show that we're putting in our own, well, it is our money, but money from covenants, also 12,000 per year,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, as half of the, right? I didn't do all 5 years, but this is budget FY '23, 12,000, so obviously per year.
Well,
24,000 a year. Does that make sense or not?
well, we just need to explain that to them.
Well, yeah,
This
yes.
looks like, because, how did we get to 24?
Well, it's 12,000 fiscal year '23 here and 12,000 fiscal year '23 here equals 24,000 total.
Yeah, that part's not very clear.
Well, I didn't know we were gonna be showing this to the county. This was
Well-
for our own, I thought.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
well, but we're gonna have to talk to them, I think, some about what the,
Yeah.
I just think it's important to show them that we're not expecting all of this to come from the STD. So that was just my attempt to say,
Oh,
you know, also from other money that we have. We're not hoarding our other money.
right, but, okay.
Do you want me
Okay,
to?
so, no,
Okay.
if we just explain it, okay,
Okay.
this is our total budget for '23. It has STD funds,
Mhm.
and then here's what is coming in also from covenant
Right,
money, and this is just the total budget
Right.
for '23.
correct,
We'll be also kicking in another 12,000 per year
right,
to match
right,
the STD.
exactly, yeah.
Obvious too,
Ah.
most casual observer. Okay. So we'll get back, I think, right, I don't think we need all of us, I'm gonna let you know, but I think probably Rhea, Jack, and Tony and I will summarize what's happened in the STD meeting and,
sounds
Is
good.
Tony going as well?
no,
Jack and-
no, we'll summarize to him.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay,
That it?
that it?
Next
Any
thing.
questions on STD? All right. New business, one thing we also have going on, which I forgot earlier, but we have a rogue treehouse in the community.
Oh, where?
So we're here on
Chestnut.
Chestnut. There,
Sorry.
neighbors over there were complaining about kids having a treehouse back on our right of way, they said. And this treehouse invited parties and fires and all kinds of nonsense. And brought in police departments and the fire departments and neighbors
Oh, my
and
God.
yada, yada,
So
yada.
these aren't young kids, these are teenagers, this is a teenager.
Yeah, so, long story short, you could not see this thing from the road. Couldn't see it from, supposedly it was on Chestnut, you couldn't see it from Chestnut, you couldn't see it from the next road up, which is Pilot. So I went over there with my lots of DEET on and lots of long sleeve shirts and jeans and a hot damn day, and met them over there and walked the property. Well, the bottom line is, yes, there's a treehouse structure back there, and a deer stand, and ladders, and we even found electrical cords that ran from the treehouse all the way back to a property near Pilot. Okay, so, and I had the two complainants there with me. We kind of basically walked it all off. It's not in our right of way, pretty sure. It's on, one of the vacant lots back there, who Rita said had basically abandoned the property, and they don't pay anything.
It's,
So-
yeah, and it's like on the uncollectibles list,
Right.
because they haven't paid for 20 years.
Right. So, she tried contacting people on Pilot, and they, of course, disavowed any knowledge of anything. The other neighbors don't know, so there is, I think, valid concern about, especially the elevated part of this treehouse, which is fairly dilapidated, could invite a liability problem. And if we're cognizant of it, even though it's not on our property, but it's on abandoned property, if some kid goes out there and falls off this damn thing and breaks his neck, they're gonna sue us. So the process we're starting is to get Joe Jr.
Well, Joe Senior went out looking for it and couldn't find it, and he was on the wrong part of Chestnut, so I showed him on the map, and he's gonna actually, he still couldn't find it. He's gonna meet with the property owner who made the complaint,
Okay.
and that man's gonna show him exactly where it is, and he and Joe Jr.
But what property is the electrical line running from?
Well, it runs from this abandoned lot where the treehouse is.
Just somebody's house?
But if it has to go to someone's house,
And
so
And
there's
it
got some
doesn't
electricity.
go, there were at least 3 cords, but based on color. And they ran from that treehouse area down a path to approaching property on Pilot. They contacted people on Pilot and said, hey, we found an electrical cord coming down almost to your house. Do you know anything about it? Oh, of course we don't know anything about it.
You
So,
know, I think, why don't we ask the fire department to get involved? Because it seems to me that these electrical cords just running out there, they truly are a fire hazard.
well, they're not connected to anything.
But they
So-
know where, I'm sure they are.
Well, Joe's gonna
Well,
take them.
we're just gonna remove that
He's
stuff,
gonna
Tony.
remove them.
Yeah.
We're gonna,
That's-
But can't they get other ones and just plug them back in? I mean.
well, they can, I mean, this thing's, these people, the neighbors there, I think are pretty interested in monitoring what's going on out there.
Okay.
Well,
And I told-
can we just remove the electrical wires?
Yes, the plan is to get Joe and Joe Jr. to get rid of the electrical cords, take the elevated structure down,
No good, yeah.
Yeah.
so we get rid of that. I'm not worried about the rest of the crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the neighbors will come salvage the ladders and whatever. But get rid of the thing that could be a hazard, bring it down, monitor the situation. I told the neighbors there that, hey, if you see any kind of vandalism, if these kids are being belligerent, supposedly they were cussing out one of the ladies nearby.
Oh,
And
gosh.
I said, look, call the sheriff, period. We can't do anything about it, call the sheriff. Or if there's a fire, call the fire department, but we can't fix that part of the problem. We can try to figure out who owns it if we can, which I doubt we can.
Yeah.
I mean, they sort of know what kids might be involved, but, you know, you can't prove anything.
Yeah, you can't prove it.
So-
Now, I think the smart thing is to take down the platform, take out the wires, and let's see what happens.
Right, so that's the plan.
So is this that rental that's on Chesapeake, that's on Chestnut? That has all
No.
that stuff?
No.
It's
No,
not that
I
one?
know which one you mean.
It's not?
no, it's, where the
Way back
treehouse
there.
is 2 or 3 lots back from the road, in between Chestnut and Pilot. There was the old right-of-way would have been a road going
I think
through
it's
from,
Coleman it's called or something.
yeah, Paulman. It would have gone from Chestnut to Oak and then to Pilot.
Maybe anything was back there.
So, and actually, it's got a nice property back there, but, you know, I don't know, it must not perk or what, but. And the land trust is not, apparently right now, is not taking any property, so.
I guess that's something else, I didn't think about this, to mention, there's an owner on he has several lots, but he has a vacant lot on McMichael's. And that's part of McMichael's where there is no road. And he was not happy years and years ago when, after having paid the STD, he found out we were not going to be paving any more roads. Apparently, he was led to believe that roads would be built as a result of the STD. So that didn't happen. In any case, though, over the years, it was an area where dirt bikes would ride back in. So we put obstruction there, and he was no longer able to get to his lot. So I talked to Mike, and he said, well, certainly we'll open up access, because this man, he thought about donating it, but that's what made me think of it. Land Trust isn't taking donations right now, because the man that was doing that for them has moved from the area. Kurt said he maybe would help the guy if he still wants to do it. But I sent, in Mike's direction, I went ahead and sent a letter and said, yes, we'll certainly have that opened up. So that's gotta go on Joe's list.
Yeah, I just felt like we have no authority to block somebody's access to their
I don't
property,
think
so.
that's right, yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's asking us
I'm not
to
gonna
pay
build
it
him a
or anything.
road,
No, I don't
but
think
we
he's,
can't block his.
yeah, I think he's given up on that.
It's just,
Now, in a theory question, if he suddenly came in and said, hey, look, I have a building permit to construct a house, aren't you guys obligated to build me a road?
No, I don't think so.
I think there's something about providing access.
Well, access maybe, but not a road.
Not a road.
Well, what's access?
They have to pay for it.
bushwhacking a path, is that what you're saying, is clearing vegetation?
I don't know
What
what he's
is
using
that
it
for?
for.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know.
well, I don't know what technically access.
That's a theory question. It just strikes me as interesting.
If you wanted to build a house on that, you want to be able to drive up to it, I would think, so.
Yeah, but
The
it's your
policy-
obligation to pay for the.
Yeah, okay, so he could get a permit to do that.
If the developer went in there to build a house, I think the developer would have to
Okay,
line up access and utilities.
so it's a matter of who pays, and who,
Yeah, but if the property owner says, I'm gonna build my house on that lot, which I bought, which is in your community.
I don't know. That's always been sort of a
It's an interesting question, but
Yeah.
it doesn't exist, so it doesn't matter. Let's not waste any time.
yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other new business or?
I was just wondering, I mean, I saw the emails you sent out about the property over here, how, the owner had, sent out a letter. It went right in the street line saying that we had made a proposal, like an offer.
Oh, this one, yeah.
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 So where do we stand right now with that?
Well, I created an absentee ballot. I mean, I don't know as far as what price to put on it. I thought I'd tackle that once I get back from Phoenix, because it's gonna come to the membership meeting. I think, Mike, you kind of talked about doing a, you know, not
to
more
exceed-
than, not to exceed
Not to exceed
a
price.
particular price.
Yeah.
I don't think that this woman expects us any longer to pay $15,000.
Okay.
I think she told the speculator, which is what it is, I looked it up, that, so that if we can't get the approval to purchase at something she'll agree to and on and so on and so forth, she can go back to them and say, well, you know, yeah. I think she's just trying to keep her options open. She's not really trying to jerk us around or anything. I mean, she's not, I don't think
Yeah, well,
that.
especially since she told us, which is kind of like the
Yeah.
whole thing I found.
Well,
kind of
exactly,
strange.
yeah. It was just her letting me know that other people are interested perhaps too. I don't know.
Did you see it, that letter, or whatever it was?
I sent it out to
Email.
her.
Yeah, you sent that to everybody.
This is one of these, you see them advertised all over the
Yeah.
place. I'll buy your house.
Yes.
I'll buy your lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you give her the impression that, oh, the price is wide open. I can't imagine, I mean, these people are not gonna do that.
No,
They're gonna lowball it, because that's how the only way they're gonna make money on it.
Right.
Yeah, and heaven knows what they'll try to do, if that's the case, even though, we have restrictions, but I mean, they're not gonna push back and cause problems.
Right.
I can't imagine, they're not gonna pay top dollar for a lot that doesn't
Well,
perk,
that's good, yeah, exactly.
that you can't develop,
Yeah.
so.
But I thought I have the absentee ballot created, and I thought when I get back, I'll fine tune it a little bit and send it out to everybody for approval, because I need to have that ready, good here before the meeting or two. I wanted to carry that to our friends and neighbors.
Well, when I did the comps, that's, you know, what she's asking is about what it's worth.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't imagine anyone
No.
paying anything more than
No,
that.
and I think,
Yeah, but you said what?
I think it's been a while, so don't hold me to it, like, but I think somewhere between 12 and 16, something like that.
Yeah, but that's like double, that's
Yeah.
almost triple of what the assessed value is.
I
Because
know.
those are all assessed at $4,300.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Tommy had a good suggestion about giving a price like 8,000 or something like that, because,
yeah.
Yeah,
and, I mean, just come up with a number.
Well, when I did the calculation, I kept it on here with 7482.
Yeah.
And that was going back 5-6 years, I think, of her property taxes. And then I added what she had paid to us as HOA fees, and I came up with 7482. You know, total, including what she paid for it,
Yeah.
which was 5,700. And then she came back, I don't think I said, here, we're offering this. I don't remember, but she came in the same time frame back with a number, I think 9,200.
Yeah, and then that.
And she went clear back with all of her property taxes, but no HOA fees.
I don't know how she can.
And then Tony
Well-
had that suggestion, I mean,
Yeah,
the
so-
8,100 or whatever, I can't remember what he
Right,
said.
which is
but
why I think Mike said not, price not to exceed.
Not to exceed,
But
yeah.
I do think, and she pointed this out, we've had the use of that lot all these years.
Yeah.
And that's worth something.
Okay,
So,
so that's what she said.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I think Tony said like 8,000 or
Yeah,
something. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably,
Something in between the price of what
Right.
Rhea came up with and the price that she's at.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
split the difference, and
Yeah,
that could be a fair price.
Yeah, could be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
but I'll finish that absentee ballot when I get back and get it out to you guys for
Okay.
approval, so I can print it.
Right. I did ask another realtor's opinion, and they said, well, based on what the county assesses all these unperkable lots and everything, that, you know, $5,000 to $6,000 is probably good ballpark. But that doesn't factor in
Right.
some of these intangibles,
Yeah.
Right.
like our use of it.
Yeah.
So, and also, the one thing that might be, that might provide some kind of competition would be the adjacent lot owners, if they wanted to just have an extra space.
Yes, yeah.
They
Yeah.
might, you know, if they were interested in it,
Yeah.
that's the only people I could see
Just to
that would be
keep,
viable.
keep it, and keep us from taking it, and keep anybody else from building something.
Right, or
Yeah.
just have it further,
Yeah.
put a dog
Oh,
pig.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
oh, yeah,
you know, I mean,
Park or trailer.
the park
Well,
or
can I
trailer.
ask, so speaking of that, like our neighbors, the Youngermans, they brought the property below, and, it didn't perk.
Right.
So they were able to buy it, because I think the owner of that property wanted a lot more money for it, and then, they tried perking it and perk. So I just wanna know if you knew how much they paid, I mean,
I
I know
could look it
the
up,
lots are
but I
different, but I don't
know
know how much
offhand.
they paid for that lot, that.
I could look it up, but I don't know off the top of my head.
And the same thing, I mean, the person next to the property here.
On
might
either
wanna-
side, yeah.
I mean, anybody can find that, just go on the tax assessor website and pull up Bayview Drive, because, you know, if you don't have the address number,
Yeah,
and, you know,
I'll find it, yeah.
look down through it. I use a tax ID, but you don't have that, but,
And that would give us a little bit of a comp to,
yeah, and I don't know how big that is, I don't know compared to this, I
Right.
mean, I know it's comparing different things, but it has sold recently, you know,
Yeah,
so.
right.
okay, so we'll refine that when you get
yeah,
back.
oh yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Next meeting, yeah.
All right, next meeting, next meeting. Probably can't be here.
Well, the first Tuesday in October is the 5th.
Right now, I don't know whether I'm gonna be back then or not. 12th work?
Works for me. Is that the following week, guys?
Yeah.
I won't be here, I'll be in Canada.
I'll be gone.
You'll be gone?
I have a dental
Are you
appointment, I
gone
could change it.
Aren't you gone both weeks though?
Are you here on the 5th?
Yeah, but I'm leaving the 6th.
Oh,
Um,
Could we do another Thursday maybe?
You leave on the 6th.
Wednesday,
how long are you gone for?
2 weeks.
Oh,
So you're not back until 20. So it looks like we lose Jack, period. Because I can't see going after,
No,
much after.
if we didn't have the STU.
Tony and Jenny, are you guys available on the 5th or the 12th?
As far as I know, either one of those dates is fine.
Okay. Jenny?
As with me, either one is fine.
Okay.
The 5th will work for me.
5th works for you,
But on the 12th, yeah, okay.
but not the 12th.
Right.
And Jack, you're leaving, but that's my problem, is I'm not sure I'm back. I've got,
Why don't we say tentatively the 5th, and then if you find out you're not back, we can move it to the 7th, and Jack will have to miss it.
okay, well, I'll try to pin that down with the boss. Let's see. Are you guys available on the 7th if we had to move it to that day? Jenny? Okay, Jenny?
I mean,
Okay,
works for,
Yeah.
but then we
I
lose,
won't, I'm leaving on the 6th.
you and Jack both, are you going together?
Busted, huh?
Busted. I won't tell Cindy, what's the word?
this is recorded,
What's
isn't
it
it?
worth? Yes, it is, yes, it is. So the meeting has not ended.
Okay, so Jack's not back on the 12th,
No.
and you're not.
It's like an SAT question.
Let me see
So
when
that's
I'm
how
coming
we're
back.
coming for the meeting.
I won't be back until the 15th. But I can try to call in, I mean, you know.
Or let me call you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know the 12th will be safe. The 7th, you're gonna miss. Would you be able to call on the 7th if we
Yeah,
did that?
yeah, let's see why not.
Okay. So, oh, all right, well, I'll look at and then send everybody an email. Okay,
meanwhile, we have the general meeting on the
28th, Tuesday,
28.
7 o'clock.
September 28th?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you all.